How to get better at playing banjo. Today I'm going to give you the methods that I use to track my progress. Hello, thank you so much for pushing that play button. I greatly appreciate it. If you're new to my channel and you love banjo content, please consider subscribing because that's all I post on this page, guys. All right, one of the hardest things in playing any instrument, I know, but banjo especially, is seeing the progress you've made, because the steps are so small in between each progressing point that you get sometimes, and I know I did, you get discouraged playing because you're like, I am not getting any better. It's so hard to track and watch, especially when you're going week by week and month by month and you're making minute steps. The methods that I use mainly involve the metronome. That's how I use to track my progression. I can keep track of how fast I'm getting on things, or how much better I'm getting, or how my timing's getting better. I use the metronome for pretty much everything that I do. So let's say you're trying to learn a song and you start out at a certain BPM, beats per minute. You start out at 30 beats a minute, which is really slow. Let's say 60 beats a minute, and you're playing it at 60 beats a minute. Well, you can keep up with that, because say the next time you go up to 65 beats a minute, or you go up to 70 beats a minute, you can see that progression. If you're trying to figure out your chords on your fretboard, guys, and you're going from chord F to chord C to chord D to chord E minor, and even when you're trying to practice on learning your chords on your neck, you can use the metronome for that too. You can set the metronome to tick, and you can change chords on your fretboard at the same time as your metronome is going on all your chords. You got your D7, you got your C, you got your F, you got your D. I can't really see the fretboard. I hope that's a D. But anyways, as the metronome is chiming, you can change chords on the neck. That way, if you're getting better at changing your chords, you can speed up the metronome and you can see it. And not only using the metronome for that, guys, it gets you used to it. It gets your body internally synced with the metronome, and that timing of how quick the metronome is or how slow the metronome is, it keeps you on time. And so everything else you're doing as you're playing the banjo and as you're going on through progression, learning how to play the banjo, that internal timing is always there, because you're always using the metronome to time everything. Now, this is kind of off the subject, guys, but something else I'll do too to kind of test my fortitude on how far I've come along in playing the banjo is I will learn a new song, and I will learn it well enough where I can play it like it's supposed to be played. Well, then what I'll do is I'll find a lick, say a D lick that I really like, and it fits in the timing to like a certain lick in that song, and I will change it out. And that's something else you can try to do too as you're going through this, is change out licks in a song. And I know I've probably said that in the past, but that's another way to tell how far you've progressed, is to be able to change licks out in a song and play it with that new lick. It becomes a whole brand new song. There's even a song one time back years ago that I actually changed out, I'm gonna say 80% of the licks in the song. So when the final song that I'd come to, that I'd made it into, was a completely different song than the one I actually learned, but it still sounded the same, if that makes sense. So guys, go out and get you a metronome and use it for everything you're doing. Not only when you're playing music to keep timing, use it when you're practicing changing chords, use it when you're strumming, when you're doing your roll patterns. Do your roll patterns to the metronome. Everything you do on your banjo while you're practicing, use the metronome for it, because that's the best way to tell how much better you're getting, because you can speed up the metronome, and if you can keep time as you're speeding up the metronome, that's progress, guys. So if you watch yourself right now and then a month from now on the metronome on everything that you're practicing, I guarantee you've gotten better and you'll see it. Guys, thank you all so much for pushing that play button. If you've enjoyed the content, please consider smashing that like button. It helps out tremendously. With that being said, we're going to go on to the next video, and I'll keep practicing my claw hammer banjo, guys. Thanks for watching.